it's for real.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? We got another Hambone to the Movies movie review. This one right here. I'm not going to do every movie that I ever watch on any of these streaming services. I don't think that they feel like they should probably get such like recognition in most cases, just because there's a reason why they're on a streaming service and they're not made by a big blockbuster movie title and put out there in the movie theaters. But there are going to be some that I actually like or that I see that I think deserves a little bit of recognition. And this is one that I found because I was doing the trailer reactions, and it's Blood Red Sky. And this movie right here, I thought had an interesting premise and stuff like that ever since I'd watched the trailer. So I was kind of excited. Like I actually went back. I had cut off my Netflix for a little while. I went back and like resubscribed, not only because of this movie, but also I wanted to be able to see the new Masters of the Universe Revelations. So I got that. And but this movie actually played a part in me wanting to resubscribe just to go watch this movie and see what it's about, because I love horror. And this movie seemed very interesting. You have this lady that's on a plane that's, well, before we even do that, let me go ahead and tell you, like shout out a couple of people. The director was Peter Thorwarth. Stars in it was Para Bamaster. I think that was the main lady of the film. Carl Koch and Alexander Shear. But this is one of those movies, like, you may not know a lot of these names because this is obviously done like foreign. The English is dubbed. I didn't go back and change it around. I just left it what it automatically played at, and for me, it automatically played like in the dub thing. They did really super well dubbing this movie. There was a few moments where I was like, especially when a kid was speaking or whatever, it was a little weird at times. But overall, like, they did a pretty good job. Like, it didn't take me completely out of the movie or anything. It was just something that I noticed. But yeah, you got this kid. He's got his mom and kid. You think his mom's sick. They're trying to get on an airplane to get to the United States. You even see a small clip where, you know, it's showing them and it's got all these like MRI machines. I'll say that correctly eventually. But anyway, they got all these like equipment and stuff back there with a doctor talking to her. And you're like assuming, right, like she has maybe like cancer or something like that. And she's just trying to go get treated because where she's from, they don't have the technology like we do here in the United States. And that kind of thing. And that's actually what happens a lot in the real world, is like a lot of these countries that so-called, they may have healthcare for almost everybody, but we have money over here and we have like the best of technology in most cases that we can use. So a lot of people have to come over here to get like some of the best treatment ever, even though it costs a lot in a lot of cases. But so that's happening. But if you saw the trailer, you kind of knew it was going to happen. But if you came into this movie like super clean, you didn't ever watch any of the trailers or any of that, you wouldn't have known. As the story progresses, she's not just taking medicine because she's got cancer, which she don't have. You end up after these people start taking over the plane, and that's what it looks like, is a plane heist movie where these people are trying to be a terrorist. They're trying to like get money from one of the governments or whatnot. Like, if you don't do this, we'll do this kind of thing. And while that's all going on, you got a couple of crazy. And look, there was one dude in there, and it's a part of that group. He starts out as like, he's like a steward. I don't know. I guess men are still called stewardess, like on the planes. But like, he's one of those guys, and he's doing this thing, and it's like you don't even recognize it. But at one point, when the plane starts to get taken over, these different people that were either on the plane or part of the plane's help becomes part of the bad guys. And this dude's crazy. I mean, he stabbed someone like 15 times for no reason. So you know there's something up with that dude. And well, that guy ends up killing the main lady, the star of the show per se. And when she gets shot up and stuff, well, she comes back to life, because guess what? She's a damn vampire. That's what I'm talking about. She becomes a vampire. She always was a vampire, and she was taking this stuff to stop her from becoming one fully. But it was really super cool. Like, at this moment of the film, it gets more horrifying. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Like, as she's going around being a vampire, she gets less and less and less human, which is a really cool part of the story. And all of this, like I said, most of the time on these reviews, I don't go into in-depth spoilers. Like, I did talk about a couple of scenes already. I don't really want to talk about too much about what goes on. I want you to be able to watch my reviews and go be able to watch the movie and still really enjoy it. So I don't want to give it all away. But there's some really key, like, interesting things to go wrong in this story. Like, I give the director props. I don't normally like doing the foreign films with stuff that has to dub. That's not my favorite thing. But this one right here, though, I was able to make through it because the story was interesting. The actors in this movie did pretty well. There were a couple of little times that maybe it wasn't perfection, but like, what do you expect? Like I said, this is not like a star-studded cast that you would get in some of the American-made movies, especially the ones that's supposed to be blockbusters that goes into the theaters. So I kind of like try to ignore some of that stuff. I'm not going to hate on people that's coming in here doing their thing. Like, how bad would it be if, I did a movie for the first time and I didn't have a lot of money, but I tried to everything I did. I worked as hard as I could, and people just downgraded it because of the fact that I didn't have the money or the skills to do this. But overall, the team did well. Overall, the actors did well. The story is what really sold this movie. Sometimes a story, sometimes that can elevate a movie. And I feel like that elevated this movie because it was different, right? You've always watched those movies like, the Air Force Ones where people are taking over the planes. We've seen those all kinds of times. And we've even seen, some of those things with a little bit of horror mixed in, but not to this point. Like, it brought a brand new ideal to the vampires. It didn't just like copy paste from other movies. So I thought that part of it was really super cool. And like, yeah, it actually surprised me. This is a movie, I didn't know nothing about it until I saw the trailer not long ago. And then I got excited for the movie, went and watched the movie, and I was damn glad I spent the time. I was glad that I went and resubscribed to Netflix for a short period of time to be able to watch this movie, Blood Red Sky. Like, it was enough in the movie to keep you entertained. It never got super slow or super dull. It always kept moving, and I just really appreciated the movie for what it is and what it's done. I give my ratings. I've kind of described it to you as 1 to 10, 5 being straight in the middle. 5 being I don't really like it or hate it. Anything below a 5 means I don't really like it that much. Might even try to almost go to the word hate, but I hate using word on movies because they really ain't did nothing to me. They ain't did nothing to me for me to hate them, So, like, here it goes. With this particular movie right here, I actually rated it at a 6.5. And guys, like, listen, that's because it did have some of those things missing from like some of your best out there, like the movies. Like, if you took some of the best directors that's been doing it for a long time, you added a little more money, get a little better actors. Overall, this movie could have been like even higher, but that's not any knock on anybody on this movie. For me to rate a Netflix movie like at a 6.5, that's actually pretty good. And it is kind of close to a 7. Like, I did contemplate going as high as a 7, but a 6.5 on this movie is where I rate it. And like I said, it's one of those things. There's just a couple of things that won't let me rate it too high, much higher, but like, it's definitely worth going and watch. I definitely like this movie. And I think a lot of people will like this movie. Like, I can see, like, from my trailer reaction numbers, like, that's one of the most watched trailer reactions right now at almost 100 views because people really, I think, dig the premise of this movie and kind of was interested in what this movie is going to be about. That's what happened to me, and I overall enjoyed my time with it, watching the trailer and watching the movie itself. Hey, man, until next time, peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.